All right, guys. Wanted to have a bit of a discussion and share with y'all some of the more common night vision mounting options or solutions that are on the market. Not really a lot has changed with this stuff, but I've never really touched the subject, so I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of a tabletop on that right now for you guys. So, and we will kind of start with the more simple and more common kind of entry-level setup, and that is going to be the Neurotos Rhino mount and the mil-spec just surplus J-arm. This is the same stuff that the military's been using with the PVS-14 monocular for, I don't know, probably over 20 years now. So yeah, it's just a bayonet style interface right here that goes into the Neurotos mount. And it just locks in right there. And you can hear it click. It's not the most sturdy setup, but we'll cover some more of that here in a second, and I'll set it up on this monocular. What I have here is Nocturne Industries, and this is their Tanto monocular. And it uses PVS-14 optics, and it does not have manual gain. I've done a video on this specific night vision device. If you go back channel, you can find that, as well as the other night vision device. But just wanted to go ahead and talk about mounting solutions. So right here, what I have is a Picatinny mount for a night vision monocular. It's specifically made for the PVS-14, but this monocular interface is the same way. That way you have commonality across the industry. And you'll see that with pretty much all the stuff when it comes to night vision. So this is a Picatinny mount where you can mount this on the rail of a rifle. It's specifically designed for like an M4 style rifle or 5.56 rifle, AR-15, whatever. And you can mount this on the rail of your rifle like such behind a traditional optic like a red dot. And then you can utilize this as sort of a makeshift or poor man's, I guess you could say, clip-on night vision device. So you can mount this behind a red dot optic, and then you can have night vision through there, and you're basically using pretty much passive aiming through a red dot to use the red dot reticle and acquire a target and engage it with the rifle. It's not rated, it's not, excuse me, it's not recommended that you use one of these night vision devices on like a PVS-14 or similar on anything larger than like 5.56 due to recoil concerns. I've heard that that's a bad idea to even use it on a 5.56. I've heard it could damage the image intensifier inside of the night vision device after prolonged use. Your mileage may vary. Again, you do that shit at your own risk because night vision is expensive. And when you pay for your own shit, you know, it's not like you can just run down to Supply or something and get them to swap one out or anything like that. I don't really know how that shit works in the military, but as far as just being a regular person that's paying for your own shit out of your pocket, if you screw it up, you know, you're pretty much, you got to deal with that shit on your own, and you got to figure out how to source a new one or get it rebuilt or whatever, or just live with whatever damage may have occurred to the image intensifier. So again, I've done it, very limited circumstances. It does work. You know, depending on the quality of your optic and light transmission and so on and so forth, all the considerations with passive aiming, it can be done. But the bad downside of that is, if this is your only night vision device, I guess it'd be okay maybe for hunting critters or something like that. But anywhere you want to see with night vision, you have to point the rifle. So again, that's just another drawback. It's suboptimal in my opinion, but it is a way that you can get shooting if you need to. So all right, so now that we've looked at that, these are still cool. I think they're handy to have, and you could probably find these on the surplus market for pretty inexpensive too. So take that off, and again, you got another screw here where it just locks down on the rail of a rifle. So those are pretty cool. I've had that one for a while. Again, it's interesting, but as far as being highly useful, probably not so much for me. And then we got the surplus or mil-spec style J-arm here. So we will mount this up. Thumb screw goes right there in that hole. And we'll screw it in, get it kind of snug. Don't want to strip our threads or anything crazy. And then now we can look at the Rhino 2. And this thing just it's got like a friction lock built into it, so you overcome the friction and you can go to stowed, and then again overcome the friction and then deploy it right here for use. You got a knob right here, or lever, that can allow you to be able to pan or tilt the device once it's in there. And then over here on this side, your other adjustment is this little tab right here, where you can move the monocular closer or further away from your eye. So let's mount it up. There we go. Mount it up. That's what it looks like when it's in use. And then when you stow it up, you get that super high snag hazard off the top of your head. It is what it is. You kind of get used to it, but it does stick out a good bit, and it will catch and snag on shit if you're not careful. And probably, depending on what you're doing, it'll still snag even if you are careful. So that's one of the drawbacks of this as well, in my opinion. And then if you want to swap eye to eye, that is an option. So we undo this little screw here, and then we can pull out away from our eye, rotate to the other eye, and then screw it back in, snug it down, and then there we go. Now we've swapped eyes. So it does work. I mean, it's worked for quite some time. And again, this is one of the less expensive ways to get in and get started, especially if you're running a monocular. If you're running binos, most binos are going to be dovetail, and we'll get to that in a moment. So, but again, you do have a lot of wobble, a lot of wiggle and play, and the tolerances are kind of loose. Most of these things are going to be used when you find them on the secondary market if budget is concerned. And even with a new J-arm, you're still going to have a good bit of wobble and slop in there. That's just the way it is. So that's the Rhino mount by Neurotos. And then we will take a look here at another option that's been out for a little while, and that is the AX14 articulating J-arm by Noise Fighters. This is pretty cool. I like it a lot. No thumb screw, but just a little flat head. So we can install it right here onto the Nightvision device. Give it a little snug. There we go. And again, this is an articulating J-arm. And if you can see right here, you have a hinge point here, and then you have another hinge point right here. So you get a good bit of articulation with this setup, but it does not interface with a Rhino mount. It's not a bayonet style. As you can see, it is a dovetail style. So that's gonna have to be moved out of the way, and we will discuss something a little bit different now. And that is the Wilcox G24 dovetail mount. This is an authentic Wilcox mount. These are quite expensive. I think when I got mine a few years ago, they were like $400. Now I think they're up in the $500 area or range. So again, they're expensive as shit, but there are Chinese knockoffs. I've heard that they're okay. They're like $100. So for what it's worth, the cost savings is significant, but you know, that's not a recommendation. I've never used one of those. I just went ahead and bought the real deal. And there are some fakes too, so be careful where you buy one that's supposed to be real, because the fakes, from what I understand, are pretty, they mimic the real ones quite closely, including the markings and everything on them. But, so this is a dovetail mount. We'll go ahead and pull it off the helmet. So over here on this side, you have a button to go from stowed to deployed, and it locks in the stowed position, and it locks out in the deployed position. Right here, you have two tabs on each side, and that's where you can adjust your eye relief and move the device closer or further from your eye. And then right here, you still get to do your pan or tilt. I guess tilt is the right word for that. I don't know. I'm not fucking one of those guys, whatever. Anyway, so tilt right here with this knob. And then right here, you have a little toggle. You can turn that and unlock it, and then it allows you to move your Nightvision device up and down. And it also, if you can pay attention to that angle, it kind of moves it away or closer to your face as well at the same time at a bit of an angle. So you get 3 adjustments with this, as opposed to the 2 that you get with the Rhino mount. And another feature that's noteworthy is that you get a breakaway option on these. If you can see right there, it says breakaway. And what that allows you to do is, right here is where I can lock it into the helmet. So right now we'll go ahead and put it onto the shroud and then push that lever back over to the side, and now it's locked in. And I'm in standard mode. So if I ran into something and it got snagged up, if I'm wearing my night vision device and I got hung up on something, then if I'm in this standard mode, it's not gonna come off, and it might hurt me or injure me or something like that, maybe injure your neck. But if you wanna run it in breakaway mode, if you're gonna be in the bush or in the brush and woods or something like that, then what'll happen is if you snag on something, then it'll break away. And then that way, you should still have your shit tied down. You better, if you don't want to lose it. And then in that instance, it'll just break away, and then this should be hanging. It'll probably hit you in the face or some shit, of course, but at least you won't lose it. You won't lose a, several $1,000 optic. So that's a pretty cool feature as well. And you don't have to run that. It is an optional thing that you can either use or not use. So let's get this thing mounted back up. So there we go. And then I'm gonna take it out of breakaway mode. And then as far as this button right here on the front is how you release whatever device you're running. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. It clips in, and then if I want to take it off, I just press that button right there. So there we go, we're locked in again. And you can still rotate this thing from eye to eye pretty easily, and you can adjust these screws for tension. I probably need to tighten mine up a little bit, but it's just small little screws in there that you can keep those hinge points as tight or as loose as you choose to. And when it's stowed up, you can stow it closer to your helmet, which is gonna probably be desired. And another cool thing about it is whenever you want to maybe do something different or doing an administrative task or whatever, you can kick this thing out away from your eye, and then you can stow it up and out of your line of sight like you would commonly see the cool guys do with a binocular device. And then now your line of sight is cleared up for you to do other things, but the night vision device is still down and horizontal. That way it's not snagging on a bunch of shit and stowed up over your head. So pretty cool in my opinion. I like that. I think that's a great feature, and I think it's very user friendly. And then we will take a look at the mounting of a binocular night vision device. And this is these are the Nocturne Industries Katanas. That's the Tanto, which is a binocular. This is the Katana, same company. Very similar devices. They're kind of siblings, I guess you could say. And then most binocular night vision devices are going to have a dovetail shoe on them. That's typically the way that they mount up. And same story. There you go. And then you can bring them down, move them in close wherever you need them as far as eye relief. And then if you want to roll them up out of your field of vision, just slide it out a little bit, and then you can stow them up and out of your line of sight. So you can conduct other tasks or take pictures for fucking Instagram posts, whatever you want to do, I don't care. We've all seen it. Most of us have probably done it. It is what it is. So there you go. So that's your most common mountain options that I have any experience with. And again, entry level is going to be to find you a Neurotos Rhino mount and a J-arm. Will probably come with your PVS 14, and then that'll get you started. That'll get you running around, LARPing and shit with the homies, doing a night hike, whatever. That'll get you on the range, etc., doing live fire shit, whatever you're into, stargazing, hands-free, etc. But if you want something a little bit more solid with less wobble and tighter tolerances, the dovetail mount is definitely the way to go. I mean, you can see it does still move some, yes, but it does not move nearly as much. And here it is in the stowed up position. You can kind of see some of that wobble. And I think that's inherent with all of these mounting solutions. And again, this is a genuine Wilcox G24 mount. So, you know, a $400 or $500 mount, and it still has that wobble and play in it. So yeah, nothing's perfect, but you know, it is a far cry better than the Neurotos Rhino mount, in my opinion. So guys, that's what I got for you guys, and I wanted to just share that information and kind of do a side-by-side comparison of those options and just share with you guys my experiences with them. And I think they're both great options, but this one, in my opinion, is certainly superior. And if you're running binos, you're probably going to be in a position where you're going to have to go with a dovetail mount anyway. So that's what I got. I'll see y'all on the next one. Be sure to hit the buttons and like and subscribe and all that stuff. That'll help me to continue to grow the channel and reach more people. Check out palmettodissonant.net. If you're looking for some merch, I got some shirts over there and stuff. Also got some North American Rescue, genuine North American Rescue trauma products or trauma treatment, trauma care products over there available. Got individual aid kits, got Cat Gen 7 tourniquets, a couple other things over there available. May add some more products in the future. Probably going to have some, or definitely going to have some different newer style of Dissonant shirts coming out available soon over there. So be on the lookout for that. And go check out the website. And I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.